Hey, it's Christine Faulkner with Cava&Faulkner, Elk Grove Living Trust lawyer, Sacramento estate planning attorney. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Catching Up with Christine today. So I wanted to continue my series or mini series on wills. And so if you have your will already in place or you have an estate plan in place, and even if you don't, and you always wondered, what in the heck is a contest clause? Why would anybody put that? Why would they need it? And what does it all mean? Stay tuned, because in the video, you're going to learn what a contest provision is, what the different, there are 5 bases in California that a contest provision may not be enforceable, what those are and what they mean, and how you can prepare your own documents if you have completed a holographic will, which I did a video on the other day, how whether you're doing a form document or whether you are writing your own will, you want to have a contest provision, and how exactly that works. So I'm going to read from one of the documents that I've created, and this is a contest provision, and it says, the right of a beneficiary to take any interest given him or her under this instrument will be determined as if the beneficiary predeceased me without leaving any surviving descendants, if that beneficiary alone or in conjunction with any other person engages in any of these actions. Contests by certain kinds of claims, and I'll tell you what those are, or otherwise objects in any court to the validity of either a trust or a will or any beneficiary designations under an annuity, retirement plan, IRA, KEO pension, profit sharing plan, etc. And or seeks to obtain an adjudication in any court proceeding that a document is void, files a creditor's claim against the probate estate, files a petition or other pleading to change the character of property, or files a petition to impose a constructive trust, or participates in any of the above actions. And so the language further says that either the trustee in the trust or in your will, your personal representative or your executor can defend any violation of that section. And a contest includes any of the above described actions also carried out in an arbitration proceeding. But if you mediate the issue, that does not count as a contest. So there's a difference between mediation, arbitration, and going to court. However, the language also says, during any period in which the laws of the state of California govern the applicability or validity of this provision, California Probate Code Section 21311 will apply, and my trustee may only enforce this provision against these types of contests: a direct contest brought by a beneficiary without probable cause, a pleading by any beneficiary to challenge a property transfer, or a filing of a creditor's claim. And so what does that mean? It means that a claim of undue influence, fraud, menace, duress, or lack of testamentary capacity will be entertained by a court. And if the petitioner or the moving party is actually successful in proving any of those claims, then they may be able to contest the will. So undue influence, what is that? Well, let's take the case of Anna Nicole Smith. You probably all remember that. Anna Nicole was this beautiful starlet who married an elderly billionaire. And you might recall that their marriage occurred, I think, a couple of years before the husband passed away. He left everything to Anna Nicole, and she then was embroiled in litigation with his sons. It went up and down, back and forth, up to the Court of Appeals, back down, and ultimately Anna Nicole won. She received all of the money, but the claim was undue influence. basically that she was a gold digger. She came in and was trying to influence this elderly person who really didn't have his full faculties available to him when he changed his estate plan to leave everything to his new starlet wife. So that is what undue influence is. Fraud is a specific, basically hoodwinking somebody, misrepresenting something to someone to make them change their plan. So fraud has 5 elements, and I'm going to try to see if I can remember what they are. The elements of fraud are either an intentional misrepresentation or omission, with the intention to basically influence someone, to have them actually rely upon that misrepresentation or omission, there must be damages, and I think there's one more element that I can't quite remember. So there's 5 elements to fraud, and if a person who is contesting a will is able to prove that the will was procured by fraud, or portions of it, especially the dispositive portions, they may be able to overturn the will or have a different disposition in court. Menace is something like threatening someone to get them to change the terms of their will or their trust in order to have a favorable outcome. Duress is something similar. Threatening somebody with a lawsuit or holding something basically over their head. And lack of testamentary capacity. So the typical kind of scenario would be someone is elderly and they are developing dementia, or they have full-blown dementia or Alzheimer's, and they really cannot understand the ramifications of their decisions when it comes to deciding who will be the object of their bounty in their estate plan, in their will or their trust. Testamentary capacity is a little different than full-blown capacity from a medical standpoint, but anyone who's creating an estate plan and making a document has to understand the ramifications of their decision-making, especially when it comes to disposing of their property. And if there's proof, probably in the form of some medical proof, that they absolutely were not in a position to do that because they were in the midst of developing Alzheimer's or dementia, and they did not have the mental faculties to make those kinds of decisions. And obviously there would be some extrinsic evidence, testimony from other family members who might testify that this person didn't even know where they lived. They didn't know their children's names any longer. So how could they actually be changing their estate planning documents during that time when they don't even know who their kids are anymore? So a claim of undue influence, fraud, menace, duress, or lack of testamentary capacity may actually fly in court if there is some proof and the petitioner or moving party is able to successfully prove that the document was procured through one of those 5 situations. Other than that, if someone's just not happy with your decisions, if they don't like your will and they have no evidence of any of those 5 areas, probably not going to be successful. And what that means is that they will be actually cut out of the plan and will have been considered to have predeceased you with no children, which means that any gift to them would lapse or basically go away. So the importance of a contest provision, because it really is a disincentive for people to challenge your decision-making that you have set forth in your planning, whether it be a will or a trust. And it makes people think twice before they decide to potentially lose what you have left them. So I hope you found this information useful and interesting, especially if you're creating your own planning. Want to make sure that you do have that contest provision in your will. To make sure that you've built in that disincentive for anyone to challenge the decisions that you've made. Thanks again for tuning in with Catching Up with Christine. Like our channel, subscribe to Well, like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and let me know what else we can help you learn about. I'm so happy to create content. And I'm certain that if you are ready to do some estate planning, we can definitely help you. We have a specific process that we go through with people, and our initial planning starts with a family wealth planning session, which is a 2-hour session where we really get to know you quite deeply and make some very solid recommendations on a custom plan for your family. So when you're ready, or if you feel like you need to do this, we definitely can help you. So give us a call, reach out to us, and we're absolutely here to support you and help you in any way we can. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Take care.